Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, everyone. I'm your commentator, Delta, and it looks like we are coming into the swing of things. I think this is one of the last days before we move on to the top eight. I think we only have two more matches after this one. With me, as always, is Alba,
Yes, hello. We do have
and
Hallowed
this,
Fantasy and HexagonMC today.
I
Which
believe that is, I
seventh
believe
and
that's the
tenth
seventh and tenth
seeds. Yes,
seeds.
seventh and tenth seed overall. So statistically, this is the second closest match, theoretically, with what the seeds have given us. So far, every single match that we've had has gone as the seeds have predicted, and I believe only one match has gone to the third fight. Um, so we'll have to see if this might finally sway the weight a little bit. We are going to have Tolga 18 and Kaizen. Tolga of HexagonMC and Kaizen of I don't know, my mic picked that
No, this
up.
is actually interesting.
Hexagon. Oh, Hexagon.
We do potentially get insight into Kaizen's team a little bit early, as they have revealed a Hisuian Samurai that's typically used on more like hazard stacker offensive teams, if I'm correct.
I've seen it at least in this tournament. I've seen it used on mostly either mixed teams or hyper offense teams. Um, so we'll have to see exactly what's going to come out there. Honestly, I haven't. We've seen a lot of this Pokemon, but we haven't seen as much as I thought we would. This is a really, really potent Pokemon. Um, as whenever it's in, it really especially if it's running a Scarf set, it really just has the option to either flip turn for free most of the time, or Ceaseless Edge for free, while offering some fairly high damage. It's a very, very good Pokemon, and I'm genuinely surprised we haven't seen it as much as we have. It's still been fairly common, but it's like one every 8 teams or something. It's quite rare compared to Landorus, which is like 2 teams.
Something I'm a little bit uncertain about is that I have seen the set before. Is it possible to run Scarf Encore on certain options?
I mean, if it gets Encore, then very possibly. We did see yesterday. We did see some cheeky scarf things. We saw a trick scarf yesterday. Um, and we also did see some Encore usage yesterday as well. So it's not something that's been out of the question in this.
Of course, that is true. It looks like things are there might have been a slight gap. However, I doubt that's entirely true. There we go. Freeze getting things properly implemented. And this is gonna be interesting. We've talked a lot about Kaizen's Hisuian Samurai here. Name convention aside. Something I'm a little bit surprised by is I feel like there is considerably less shiny Pokemon here than I'm used to seeing. Oftentimes, and I could be wrong, with very few exceptions, being a shiny could um, provide some kind of extra flavor. I'm kind of surprised most of them are going with the very basic skin.
Sorry about that. I am back. Match hasn't started.
Of course, it naturally will take a moment for it to get properly in place.
Neither users
However,
are moving, so I think it's a good sign.
certainly, we are looking at team preview now. Of course, we do have to, we do have to try our best to think from Tolga's perspective here. They've just revealed this, so if it is an offensive team, what kind of lead would you want to go with in this situation?
I'm unsure. Offensive teams, especially like mixed offensive teams, have so many options. It's not something like Stole where you probably kind of know what you're going to be dealing with. We are going to start. We are going to see a Mega Medicham lead right from the get go, as well as a Landorus lead. Um, Mega Medicham very potentially 3 damage here.
That is true, but do you want to immediately go for the Ice Punch, or do you want to potentially fake something out, maybe trying to break Sash? I think Kaizen got a little bit scuffed here.
Let's see. Kaizen, what band do they have on? They don't have a band on. They don't have any band on. They don't have Mega Stone. That would be the problem. Oh, well, that's great.
Oh, it appears I think you accidentally crashed.
I did crash.
There we go. Choosing to end battle here. Chances are, I don't know if they had the opportunity to earlier. There we go. Tolga successfully beating their inner demons.
I do see it on their forehead. Their forehead. It's on. We are going to see the same leads here. Mega Medicham and Landorus T. The Landorus will be forced. Well, it will likely be forced out. As even with the Intimidate, an Ice Punch is almost certainly enough to kill it.
While that is true, we do get insight into a good amount of the teams. In comes the Landers. I believe we saw earlier that it did go first, although I could be wrong. Could this potentially be Choice Scarf Lando? I think we are looking at a offense team. Maybe
Very
even
likely,
hyper
because I do
offense.
believe Mega Medicham is base faster than base Landorus. And you don't. A Mega Medicham usually wants to have max speed, max attack. You usually don't really care about anything. So I would assume so that this Landorus likely has to be scarfed.
There we go. In comes the Alomomola.
Let's get the fake out. Doesn't take a huge chunk though.
While it's true, something I'm curious about is
I'm just thinking. Um, a close combat here. Um, it appears that my other commentator has done. Um, a close combat might do a lot, but it doesn't matter. The Medicham will switch out, bringing the Slowking as Limamola goes for the flip. We do see the Darkrai come in. Will threaten the Slowking out, and will potentially get a free turn here. If this Darkrai is not Scarfed, it will likely be running a Nasty Plot and Hypnosis, or one or the other, and will have a prime opportunity to use one of them, as this Slowking will out the field. Dark Pulse does come out, the Slowking barely clinging on as it decides to chilly reception out, bringing the Mega Medicham back in. We're likely going to see another fake out here as Darkrai is by base faster. But Mega Medicham also potentially risks taking a lot of damage here if it doesn't go for it. I don't believe Darkrai will do enough to kill with a Dark Pulse, but it will do a good chunk. It's okay. We do see the close combat come out that would have killed the Darkrai if it stayed in, but more importantly, it will kill this Alomomola if it hits again. We do now see, however, with that close combat coming out, its opportunity to use Fake Out is gone. And it will get that special defense drop. It is very possible that now Darkrai could come in and could take it out with a Dark Pulse.
While that's true, you also have to try and bring something in that can try and survive 2 turns against this Medicham, and chances are you're not gonna find something like that.
What have we seen so far? We've obviously seen the Alomomola. The Landorus will come in. The Zen Headbutt will miss. As well as Medicham getting that attack drop. I'd assume this Medicham doesn't want to stay in for a huge amount longer, because although it does still threaten, it's now got the negatives from close combat and now a -1 to attack as well. And with that miss of a Zen Headbutt, the Landorus does get to come in 3.
That is true, but what if we see that could actually properly counter Landorus more easily? That's the question. We know now that it's Scarf, but I don't think this Medicham would want to stay in this instance.
It's very possible we're going to see a U-turn come out here to do an amount chip something. Exactly what's going to happen as the opposing Landorus comes in. As the U-turning Landorus does actually take more damage from the Rocky Helmet than it does with its U-turn, likely revealing that the opposing Landorus is either full or at least somewhat invested into defenses. And with that Rocky Helmet as well, it is likely running a more utility aligned set. That Medicham is going to be a very, very strong boon on Kaizen's team, and Toga will really, really struggle to get through this match while that
Samrock comes in.
So alive, Samrock will come in, taking the Dark Pulse and actually taking almost half. That's a lot of damage. This is potentially a Specs Landorus.
That's what I'm entirely. That's why I'm not certain, as I think it almost straight up one shot the Galarian Slowking. And Solokin can take certain special attacks like it's nothing.
If this Samurott is Scarf, it does threaten with a Sacred Sword. But if it's not Scarf, then this Darkrai will be faster than it, and will very potentially be able to kill with a second Dark Pulse. It would be a roll.
If it is a roll, it is possible that it will KO from this range. Although the chances of that happening are a little slim.
We might see something safer come in, like the Alumamola. Exactly, the Alumamola will come in, taking the Ceaseless Edge. As the first layer of spikes is set around Toge's feet. I don't think they have a hazard clear. Scarf Landorus is, I mean, it can run Defog. But I've seen a lot that don't like to, due to how that limits its capabilities. As Samurott will go for Swords Dance. Lumamola sets up Wish. We're likely probably going to see a Protect come out here, just to guarantee that Lumamola. Well, we're going to see Protect or a Switch. It could honestly go either way.
That is true. With that Sword Stance, though, I would imagine, even if you do try to protect, you could just go for another Sword Stance again.
Interestingly, with that Swords Dance being used, revealed that this Samurott is not Scarfed, and a Darkrai would threaten it.
My thoughts exactly, but the question still remains, though.
There we go. Ceaseless Edge, not even going for the Protect or anything.
I'm wondering if there was a chance Alumamola could have lived that, or potentially going for nothing because trying to bait a Sword Stance potentially. That is also an option. Potentially a failed bait there. There we go. Landorus dropping the attack, but that's not going to really matter much. As Samurott either way will be forced out thanks to Choice Scarf U-turn.
There is a potential that the Samurott is running Aqua Jet, but it will just switch out as Landorus goes for U-turn.
Things are going pretty well for Hallowed Fantasy. Darkrai hurt by the spike set earlier.
There are 2 layers of that currently set. Also, losing that Alumamola is going to be a problem because I think that might have been Tolga's only reliable switch in on Mega Medicham. Kaizen just needs a good opportunity here to bring the Medicham back in, and they might be in a very good spot.
I could be wrong. Does this Landorus have U-turn?
I don't know if it's revealed it yet. I don't think it's revealed anything. I think the only thing it's done is come into the opposing Landorus and then hard switch out the next. Because it was threatened by something. Possibly the Darkrai, actually. Landorus will hard switch out again as Slowking comes in. The Slowking will actually be forced to hard switch out this turn, or it will die.
If anything, something I'm curious about. I want to see potentially what they can switch in. Although I will say, if this is Ice Beam, something I'm more interested in actually is if this is choice locked. Actually, just straight choosing to sack there, which is not the worst idea, as that
Samurott
allows
will come
Samurai to
back
get
in
free.
as Ice Beam will not be able to threaten it. The Dark Pulse was before due to the stab bonus, but Ice Beam will not be able to threaten this. Freeze is potentially a problem, but I don't think Toga wants to risk that. We did see a
That is
Melmetal
true.
earlier in the initial fights that ended up failing. We may well see that come on field. I think that might be the best current answer to the Samurott.
Even then, both of Samurot's stabs are neutral.
I don't think a
Although
Pokemon as beefy as Melmetal would really care, though.
I will say, I feel like with the Ceaseless Edge up, I would imagine something like Razor Shell or Aqua Cutter is a lot more inviting right now, at least in terms of raw damage. There we go. Landorus coming in. Razor Shell, not quite enough to KO. That attack drop very much coming in a lot of help here.
It still will be threatened by U-turn, though. Lander's actually going for the
Ooh,
defog before it dies.
that's actually a little bit surprising as we saw this was choice log. This completely leaves Samurai free to go for a sword stance here.
Melmetal will come in, though, as one more layer of spikes is set, taking minimal damage from a Ceaseless Edge. Will also threaten this Samurott back out. I'd say the only thing that isn't necessarily threatened by like a high damaging Doubler and Bashir is probably the Landorus, but that is also very potentially threatened as well, as Tolga may just choose to click Ice Punch.
That is true. I think the only two moves on Melmetal's kit that could safely threaten it are Earthquake and Thunder Punch, both of
I'm
which
pretty sure the
Landorus would
Samurott would
easily.
die to a Doubler and Bash. It's a very, very frail Pokemon.
There we go. Landorus comes in. As the Ice Punch comes
Oh,
out,
the
immediately
predict
KOing
is
the Landorus.
very good predict there. Medicham will come back on field looking? That's not a word. Looking to threaten this Metal. I
While
think
that
what's
is
on
true,
Kaizen's team, oh wow, words. The Medicham may be the only thing that can actually threaten this Metal. Um, we may well see it switch out here into something else that may very well die to allow something else to come in to actually either threaten or I doubt Toga is going to sacrifice their Melmet. That's a lie. I think that's currently right now their best bet at winning this match.
what I'm curious about is what they can even attempt to bring in as Darkrai is certainly not safe with access to things like close combat. Obviously, we want to keep the Melmet alive. Both Landorus and I want to say pardon apologies for the late brain fart. I could be wrong. Is the Landorus still alive on Tolga's end?
The Scarflanders, yeah, yeah, it is somehow.
That's that's exactly what I wasn't certain about. There we go. Choosing to actually sack the Melmetal here as
Very risky
Darkrai comes
play.
in.
This Darkrai, I did run the calcs. This Darkrai will be unable to one shot the Medicham. But the Wilson Darkrai will switch in, taking the Dark Pulse. Notably, Toga's Darkrai is currently choice locked, I do believe, into Dark Pulse. Whereas the opposing Darkrai isn't. They're free to use anything else they like. It may not even be a choiced. Kaizen's Darkrai may even not be choiced. So it may very much in this 1v1. I believe Kaizen's Dark Pulse has a upper hand as the Heatran comes in, taking the Dark Pulse and actually taking a huge chunk. Is this Heatran not specially defense invested? Or perhaps is this Darkrai also specs?
It's a bit tough to say for sure. For all we know, it could just be the offensive set with incredible speed. Might I add, Stealth Rock is able to go through, which could be helpful. Dark Pulse KOing the Heatran here. However, I do believe that does allow rocks to be up. In comes the Lando, which we know for sure is faster. In comes the Kartana, as that is pretty bad that the one of the better checks toward Kartana has now been fainted thanks to trying to set up rocks. There we go. In comes Galarian Slowking as Kartana could honestly go for a lot right here. It's a bit hard to say what specific set it's running. It likes to run two, but we've even seen things like Grassium and Flying EMZ. There we go. Slowking going for the paralysis.
That might be quite big, as in the future, if we do see another Darkrai 1v1, it will allow Toga's Darkrai.
There we go. Going for the chilly reception, allowing Slowking to barely survive. As Landorus comes back in, dropping the attack, I would wager this allows another user to come out, dealing a little bit of extra chunk damage. Actually, just doing to outright sack the Darkrai here, which might be the best choice to safely bring Cortana in. Galarian Slowking can come out, but it's something to keep in mind. Yeah, this Samurott is still alive, and Ceaseless Edge just proves to be incredibly helpful here, as it will allow, at least at any point, hazards to remain on the field. I do believe both hazard removers have been removed, unless we see Scarf Lando choose to default again. Even then, is that a risk you want to take? There we go. Landers comes in. Samurott going for the Ceaseless Edge. And I do believe hazards, any kind of hazard, is now permanent. Darklight is brought back in. There we go. Sucker Punch deals a little bit of damage. Dark Pulse is enough to KO the Samurott.
Medicham comes back on field. Now, interestingly, the more and more stealth rock damage this Medicham takes, more and more it slowly gets into range of dying from a Dark Pulse. Not in that range right now, but
while that's true, it's not like Darkrai can repeatedly come back in to invite the
Actually, if this Darkrai is spec'd, I do believe it actually is able to kill here.
Medicham going for the fake out, still barely not enough to take out the Darkrai here. If we do on the off chance see a bullet punch, that could KO Darkrai. It looks like we confirmation now. It is bullet punch.
Be enough. I think that's exactly. I do believe that was what the idea was. Stealth rock damage would have been enough to um to take out that Medicham. This Medicham may be able to just clean out the. It does. The Zen Headbutt comes out. Will take out the Slowking, as Kazin will win the first fight for Hallowed Fantasy. HexagonMC cannot afford to lose this next match. If they do, they are out of this. Hallowed Fantasy likely feeling a bit more.
That certainly could be true, although I do believe we have seen reversals before. Pretty sure we actually saw that a couple of rounds ago when Pixelmon FR brought it back against Scarlet Korea. We'll have to see if we see a repeat of last time. It looks like we are getting back into the swing of things here. Here we go as we wait for things to go through. One moment. Just make sure I didn't crash real quick. It looks like things are still in this moment of stasis here. We'll have to see
Match will be starting. We see a Xurkitree and Tornadus T lead. This is the first Xurkitree we've actually seen in the whole tournament. Welcome sight to be sure.
now this could be interesting. The most common set I've seen for Xurkitree is Z Hypnosis.
Hypnosis Tail Glow. Yep.
I'm not certain if that's exactly what will happen here. What I'm interested in is why they chose Xurkitree to lead. That's more commonly something as more oftentimes it's kind of used more as a cleaner.
We do see the Hypnosis come out, and it does land. It is not a Z Hypnosis. Regular one. Well, this is turn 2. They might have...
What I'm more interested in is what kind of coverage this Xurkitree will be going for here. Tail Glow would be incredibly well for whatever kind of plans they have.
Do you see Tail Glow come out?
The question is, do you want to go for a quadruple? Something I find kind of unfortunate here is that it can't necessarily go for Stab Thunderbolt or honestly anything as long as Ferrothorn is on the field. Depending on the investment, it could just straight up be enough to survive.
I'll go check. I'm quite curious.
Now this could be interesting. With one turn of sleep currently through.
Yeah, no,
There we go, going for the double
it
as
will
Ferrothorn immediately wakes up.
it
This
will
could be bad.
survive if a thunderbolt comes out here. A Ferrothorn will survive that, even at +6.
Is this with max special defense or even
That's
with the
that's
regular
with
stuff?
0 special defense. Oh no, never mind. That does have 216. 216 defense, 252 HP. The current common set in SV.
Looks like it's going for a hidden power here. Surprisingly, that does neutral damage. Not many things can do that. Is it potentially HP Ice I'm looking at?
Very potentially.
I can't deny it does make a little bit of sense here. I think this might be specially defensive then. If it takes that little from although I could be wrong, I do think that it's a combination of nope, just Leech Seed. Kind of surprised at how little that took.
The Z Hypnosis will come out though, as we do get the speed boost from the Ferrothorn. Not the Ferrothorn, the Xurkitree. This thing is now +1, +6. It is a scary motherfucker. This very well may be able to just sweep Frozen Fire's whole team. Pelipper will come out on
Here
field.
comes Pelipper.
This is a rain team. This is a rain team.
Now, this is what I'm a bit interested in. Chances are trying to set up for a Swift Swimmer. What is going to happen here? Do you immediately pivot
yep.
at something like the Mega
But
Swampert?
what I thought, the Pelipper will go down as Barrascuda will come in. I don't know if
I'm almost certain that this will outspeed and KO.
Outspeed for sure. I don't know if it'll KO.
You underestimate the power of Barrascuda then.
I'm also, to be fair, I'm also overestimating the defensive capabilities of Xurkitree. It is kind of a bit squishy. Spiky, but squishy. What do you do on Kex's side? Do you just switch out here? Do you want to keep that Xurkitree alive? I mean, it's still a fantastic utility. And also, you have taken out the Ferrothorn and the Pelipper. Especially in a rain team, losing both of those, that hurts. As once the rain is down from here, no more rain. No more Swift Swim. No more Zapdos Thunders or Weather Balls or Hurricanes. Losing that Pelipper is really going to hurt long term. You do decide to keep the Xurkitree in, deciding to sack it. From here, Texas had a brilliant start, taking out both the Ferrothorn and the Pelipper. It's a worthy trade. Landorus will come on fields, like looking to get that Intimidate off. Will not be able to stay in though.
My apologies. I still don't know why I'm crashing so much.
I do
Um,
see the
this could.
Rabombi coming in. Interesting. Immediately go down. Landers will come
As
back in.
Landis comes back in,
We do now have two Intimidates on this Barraskewda.
I feel like it
Doing a
would all at
fraction of
this
the
point.
damage it was going to be doing normally. X actually have an answer for this? Because they just sacked
Yeah,
their
that's what.
Rabombi.
Perhaps what I'm imagining was supposed to happen. I'm wondering if it was potentially either Sash or something else, and it couldn't do it because it was hurt by Stealth Rock. That's what I'm wondering. In comes this Mega Swampert. Oh my god!
Well, that's not
I
something you
cannot
see
believe
every
that
day.
actually.
I mean, it won't
I
matter
cannot
much.
believe that
It
actually happened.
it really won't matter much. Um, does mean that this. I mean, I don't know if that would have killed this one Swampert anyway. Um, but that does mean that this Landorus lives another turn.
Something you got to keep in mind is that with oftentimes on rain teams, a lot of the damage, unless you're like happening to randomly run something like an Alomomola or maybe some other regenerator Pokemon, damage can be permanent. Meaning, even if the Landorus survived, that Swampert would likely be heavily damaged.
Also, I would like to say that all Kex really needs to do here is stall out the last of these rain turns, and they'll be in a fantastic position.
I would imagine they have about 4 turns left if that were the case. I would say 4 or 5 if it is Damp Rock on the Pelipper, at least. There we go. In comes the Darkrai. Flip turn dealing severe damage. I would imagine the Barraskewda is choosing to come out, potentially going for another flip turn again. That very much is the case here. I do think chances are this rain team will likely KO Hexagon MC out of this unless Kex can pull something incredibly well.
I love it when Twitch just closes down on my phone for a reason. So I hope no one said anything in the past 5 minutes. They did. I didn't see it. Barraskewda does go for the second flip turn at the Darkrai, bringing the Greninja in. Rain is still up. Not for much longer, I would assume.
I will say, this current situation, with how entirely fast their team is, I doubt there's another electric type on the team for balancing sake. And with the Xurkitree defeated, I would wager things could be looking to be incredibly rough here.
You see Lilligant come out on field though. This could be a monster actually, but it will take an ice beam. However, it goes for the sleep powder.
Falling asleep. This could be helpful, although it's a little hard to say for certain. Do keep in mind we still have the Tornadus Therium in the back, and I would wager that hard counters. I would say that probably hard counters.
And Barraskewda does usually run Aquajet as well, and this thing is very much within Aquajet range.
It's tough to say what will happen. Um, Although doesn't Victory Dance potentially improve defense as well? There we go. Barrascuda comes out as Lilgit goes for the Victory Dance. The rain has stopped.
Does it live in Aquajet here?
This is looking incredibly bad potentially for Lilligant here.
It does have that defensive boost. Longer in rain, it is very low, but it is a resist. It's gonna be hard to tell.
More importantly, I've also seen some Barrascuda run Psychic Fangs, so it could not. It is possible it's not Aquajet. It's hard to say for sure, but if it, there we go, going for another Aquajet, trying its best to KO, and it looks like it does. However, this does allow something else to potentially come in that we haven't expected before. Taking that Ice Beam might prove to be uh, the downfall here. That is the question. What do they have left?
Great Tusk will come on field. Not booster energy.
Even then, I'm not certain what Barrascuda can really. Even then, like, this is a choice band Barrascuda. I don't really know what Great Tusk will be able to do here.
I don't think it threatens a kill here. Great Tusk is extremely beefy. It threatens very high damage, but I don't think it threatens. I could be wrong, but I don't think it threatens a kill here.
Ah,
But in the same breath, it certainly threatens bringing it into range or something, clean it up.
I would imagine that would be the case as well, and depending on the situation, we could also be looking at a Water Shuriken Greninja, which, although unlikely, is very much in fact possible. With Lilligant down, though, that the question remains. There we go, choosing to bring in the Tornadus.
Ooh. Great Tusk with a fantastic predict there. Likely The tornado is likely coming out, expecting the earthquake. Hex predicting the switch.
That is true, but keep in mind we are staring down three incredibly powerful water types.
Barrascuda just being the first one. Has come back on field, no longer locked into Aquajet.
I would imagine I'm almost certain a liquidation will be enough to KO from this range.
It does come out, bringing the Landorus back in, getting that Intimidate off might be crucial as the Great Tusk does come back in.
A little bit hurt by Stealth Rock, but I highly doubt that matters as we look here. How much damage is this liquidation going to do? Great Tusk will have to do some incredible work here if it wants to try and survive. I would imagine at the very least a rapid spin needs to come through, but with Mega Swampert's Bowl.
I don't know if it's in a safe place to do that. The liquidation will come out. It will not be enough to kill, as we do see the headlong rush coming out from the Great Tusk, which will be enough to kill. Great Tusk might be in a very good position here. We do potentially still see a Water Shuriken potentially from the Greninja, and I'm fairly sure the Mega Swampert will live a hit.
I will say, even without the range, chances are, yeah, this is just straight up going to be enough. With two Pokemon remaining, I believe that is HexagonMC knocked out of the tournament.
Our closest match so far in terms of seedings, but has still gone in the direction that the seedings have predicted.
And it looks like, and although a little unfortunate for HexagonMC, both of those were incredibly. It looks like this is going to be interesting. We'll have to see what happens. I will have to double check. Who are they facing off next?
They will be facing Pixelmon Go, who is our second. Another high, another very high.
We'll have to see what actually happens here.
That is our second seed overall. Will be Hallowed Fantasy's next match. Will be coming up next week. They have one hell of a fight coming up for them now. But that is the end of the journey for HexagonMC. And also the end of our matches for today. We do have two more matches left in the round of 16. We have Smash MC versus Hex MC tomorrow, and Pokesaga versus Poke Valley the day after. If you want the exact scheduling information, that you can come on Discord. The link for the Discord is on the website. Also on the website is the sponsorship segment in case you want to contribute to the prize pool or just to the tournament as a whole. Either is heavily appreciated. Thanks for both servers visiting as always, and congratulations on Hallowed Fantasy moving on to the next round. A shame for HexagonMC, but we do hope we'll see you next year. And speaking of you, the viewer, we do hope we will see you next time tomorrow. as this will be all we have. Um, my name is Albert, and
My name is Delta, and it's been a pleasure being your co-commentator here. And we'll continue to see you all with more coverage of the Pixelmon World Championship as things begin to unfold. Until next time, we'll see you all then.
see you tomorrow.